considering the most famous thing to ever come out of New Zealand recently dropped her fourth, and I wouldn't say her best, but possibly her second best album. I thought we would do top 20 Lorde songs, and said new album features, unusually for me, quite a few times. And we're starting off with one, number 20, off of Virgin, we have Shapeshifter. And I think what really stands out for me with this song is oddly just how smooth it is. But within being so smooth, Lorde still gets in lots of different textures. And all the lyrics are very monotone. But even then there's the staccato bits, and then it's so sweet and flowy and melodic in the sort of chorus sections. So then go into this operatic bit at the end, and it all matches the music, having all these different, not really styles, but paces, but still being so smooth. It's so easy to listen to and just glide along. It's a peaceful song with just enough going on to make it wondrous. Number 19, on two very different notes, her first album, and quite a dark one. I've got Buzzcut Season. For the content of the song, it most reminds me of a Kate Bush song called Army Dreamers. And it's these young women seeing what happens on the news with all these conflicts of what on earth are these soldiers and people in combat going through. What I love about Buzzcut Season are there are metaphors in it, like with like buzz cuts and riding the bus with knees pulled in. It's such a poetic way of describing how civilians see what is going on in these conflicts. And for someone so young to write such a song so cleverly, I mean, it just shows how much the news sucks you in even from a young age. For number 18, back in her early days, I have Bravado. I'd say my favourite thing about this song is the topic itself. I almost think the topic itself is above the lyrics, because Lorde just talks about this need to fit into a clique quite directly, and this sort of elitism with the like rich suburbia. I don't really know how to describe it. I say that a lot about songs, especially in like the bottom five. She just seemed to make it all work with the topic, obviously because she was going through it at the time and just had this undeniable knack to crack how to describe such a thing. Another song that I've obviously recently fallen in love with, because it's from Virgin, number 17, I have Current Affair. And it's another song where I don't really know how to describe what makes it just click. I would say it's the urgency in the lyrics, completely contrasting but perfectly fitting with quite mellow production. But then you've got the bit in the chorus where she's not saying anything, it's going da 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 da, and it starts to build up. It's so quiet, you could tell that this Current Affair is about a quiet tension. And she builds up the tension with the lyrics, but keeps in the quiet undertone with the production, and it pairs so perfectly. For number 16, I have a song from her second album where nothing is subtle. Nothing is subtle. Everything is not extreme, but just point blank, right to the point. I have got Writer in the Dark. And you may say the verses are quite subtle, but I almost feel that those kind of fleeting, it's a piano note every 2 seconds, but I almost feel it's kind of like a soft urgency. There are little bits of subtleness, like especially in the second verse where she says, I love it here when I stopped needing you. But then immediately you're into Writer in the Dark, and those piano notes get more and more forceful. It's just so perfectly crafted and delicately. I have a feeling Lorde over-embellished it and very carefully picked bits away to make this song so exact. And then you go properly into the chorus, I still feel the urgency continues, because whilst the piano is a lot more melodic and soft, there's still those quite strong notes, and they're really at the poignant parts of the lyrics where she's being really introspective and saying, I want to try and have patience and love for everyone, but there's still a power in me that will enforce self-respect. Nothing about the song is smooth, but there's certain bits that it's gentle urgency. She's worked the contrast so well. It is an excellent song. For number 15, I have Still Sane from her first album. The main thing that draws me to it, I know all the words, but it's how ethereal it is. This album came out when I was 16, so I was still living at my parents' doing my GCSEs, I was at school. So my evenings after doing my homework and having dinner were spent just sat up in my room, either drawing maps or looking up stuff about trains, because that was me when I was a teenager. And I would listen to this whole album on repeat, and Still Sane was one of those really ethereal songs near the end that just stuck out as a bit of a fever dream. Nothing really special, but you notice she's talking about all these different types of people you just have in society. I often think about general people in society. I probably do without realising, think about it a lot, how Lorde describes it all in Still Sane. It's just a really poignant but simple stripped back song. On the opposite end, we're really flipping between the extremes here. Number 14 from, was it Hunger Games, whatever. Yellow Flicker Bee. It's just a song with power. It starts off so unassuming with just that hum, and then it just builds up and up and up with these cunning lyrics. And then everything explodes in the choruses. It's just anthemic and powerful, and perfectly fits what and who the song is about. I remember the first time listening to it and immediately I was hooked. Immediately I was overpowered with the presence of the melody especially, and the lyrics. The power in the lyrics fit it perfectly. Number 13, I always feel like the scary number going with, well, it's Glory and Gore. This song is, I think it's just one of those songs that really doesn't make sense to most people, but has this thrill about it. Has this creepy thing humming in the background about it that just sucks you in. She's just talking about feuds between groups of friends, but the metaphor of it all being like Halloweeny and witches, I feel just fits so perfectly. Because, I mean, on one end, those fights can get fucking messy, but on the other end, Halloween, it's become a very frivolous holiday, and also a lot of these fights are so frivolous. You mainly get sucked in for, first off, the title, but also the production living up to that title. It's all kind of sly and creepy, and then also realising that the metaphor paired with the song topic is so perfect and true, you just can't stop. For number 12, I have a song about pretty much the same, similar things. It is The Love Club. And number 11, wow, White Teeth Teen. I mean, these are three from, not The Love Club, because that was on the EP before the album, wow. The before to the before times. 13, 12, 11, Glory and Gore, The Love Club, and White Teeth Teens. All very much the same topic of that suburban elitism, gotta be in a clique, but let's be real, I'm so strange, I'm not going to fit in, and people are vicious when you're not playing ball. What I like about White Teeth Teens, not only do I love the ending of White Teeth Teens, it's so ethereal, and again, it's that sort of mood of music that really transports me, and The Love Club doesn't have that. But I do love the instrumentation and some of the variations, especially the chorus and near the end of The Love Club. And I just love how both those songs, when they get to the end, there's the reckoning of, I'm never going to fit in. And it may be a bit hellish, but I can't stop this. And I love how, even though it's very slight, there's a change in the instrumentation to fit this change in reality. And White Teeth Teens is a place above because the change is more ethereal and I just feel it's more dreamy. That's just a me thing. And as we begin at the top 10, we go back to the modern times. Number 10, I have Favourite Lorde from her latest album. The highlight is the instrumentation. She featured this on her recent episode of Radio X DJ John Kennedy's podcast Tape Notes, and her producer went into quite a lot of detail of how they layered the instrumentation, even from the beginning. It builds up slowly, and it was so well crafted. I'll link the episode below, but it just really goes into the detail of fixing this melody together that is really the cornerstone of the song, because it's so sweet. I mean, a lot of the things she's talking about, it's very vulnerable, and when you listen to the lyrics, it feels like, I'm going to say an anthology, but a chronology, maybe, of her going through her career, and this need to please her. I don't think it's her parents, though. It's called Favourite Daughter, but I don't think it's her parents. I think it almost could be anyone. But it's still so poetic and moving, and you still have those changes. You still have the big change at the bridge where she talks about dancing until she's sick, where it starts getting like a bit higher. She's made a delicate space to be vulnerable in. I think that's just what captivates me. For number 9, we are going back in time to track 1 of her first album. It is Tennis Court, and I'm always one for a good album opener. Actually, here I've got to give a shout out to The Path from Solar Power. It's probably going to be 21 or maybe even 20. But that is also a fantastic song. Lorde has so many fantastic songs, but that is such a soft but also enlightening opening to her third album. And I do feel like it was definitely one of the best songs on the album. It almost started too strong. But with Tennis Court, it really was the opener to the album. One thing that I think lets Hammer and The Path down is that they build up a bit even into the first verse, whereas with Tennis Court, there's a note, and then immediately the first line, "Isn't it boring how people talk?" That's quite brutal, but a lot of us think it. When you just think it about when we've met too many boring people in one go. Again, it's like a lot of the later songs in the album, like Still Sane. She's talking about variations of people in quite a cunning way. I'll probably say the most cunning out of all the songs on Pure Heroine, but it is a real welcomer to the album. It sucks you in straight away. Has a lot of the instrumentation, just little bits of instrumentation from all the tracks in the album. And it's just got that really rolling, driving beat that I absolutely love. The metaphor of the tennis court, like, if your neighbourhood has a tennis court, you know you're privileged. For number 8, I have The Louvre. I've never properly detailedly thought of the lyrics of this song. I never really thought you had to, especially that chorus. I mean, it doesn't even have a chorus. Actually, no, it does. But I'm talking about the little bit after the chorus. There's no words, and she's just sucking you in. Like, the melody tones down completely, and it's the boom, 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 and make them all dance to it. And then it's just sucking you in. It's describing the love that Lorde experienced that sort of sucked her in, and all these different little things that sucked her in with it, and how it was brilliant. So brilliant that it should supposedly hang up in the Louvre, but that it kind of faded away, but she still feels that, and such in a way, you need to feel it too. And instead of saying that, well, I mean, she does, but it's crafted in a way to suck you in. And the guitar instrumentation at the end, it goes on for over a minute, and I feel like it says without saying any words, this presence that wants to stay but is fading off, and those little kind of jingle bells, I guess it's kind of the love as they get a bit quieter and quieter and less noticeable. It's almost like the goodbye section. We've had this fleeting love, I've made you be sucked into it, but I've got to come to the reckoning that it's stepping away. I don't want to admit it, so I'm not going to say it, but I know it's here, so I will express it. And I think that's so clever. For number 7, I almost feel like this is an all-encompassing song. It is my favourite off of her most recent album, Virgin. it is If She Could See Me Now. Listening to the whole album, I'm getting all these little callbacks to all three of her albums. Not so much Solar Power, but I would say most pronounced Pure Heroine. And I feel like If She Could See Me Now, it encompasses little bits of all three albums instrumentally. And then the song is all about Lorde thinking about, across her career, all these things she's done, all these people she's met, all these people she feels she needs to look up to. And then right at the end of the chorus, referencing God, and like if God could see her. But I feel like using the pronoun she, the way she says, oh God, if she could see me now, is it that she's talking to God, personifies God as a woman? Or is she just thinking, oh my God, the overwhelming, and she is one of her biggest idols, or someone she considers as a god? But almost it's like she feels the judgment. And I feel like all that instrumentation relating to her first three albums is meant to reflect in that this song really being about how does the world and all these people I care about perceive me from my career. And the instrumentation is meant to reflect the career behind a bunch of lyrics about being judged for it. And I may have thought like into it like too much. That's what I really get from the song. The fact that I've pretty much loved every Lorde album, and then I've got this song that seems to encompass all the styles. Of course I love it. From now on, we're really focusing on the early days. But after all talking about starting an album well, you've got to end an album well as well. Number 6, I have the last track of Pure Heroine, A World Alone. I would definitely say her best end track. I feel Perfect Places, it's too hyped up until right at the end. You're almost expecting another song, a quieter song to follow. But then with David, it almost feels like everything died. I found that song really boring. And I almost feel like, even though it's so anthemic, she should have ended with If She Could See Me Now. Because I feel like whilst it's a very anthemic, loud song, well, lively song, it's a really encompassing, holistic song to round everything off. When it comes to A World Alone, the end of Pure Heroine has a lot of mellow songs like White Teeth Teens and Still Sane. And so ending with A World Alone, I feel it's the perfect ending. It's such a sweet, mellow, delightful song. And it's more humble talking about all these different people across the city. It feels a lot more understanding. It's almost a reckoning. Like in the tennis court, she's quite ruthless. And then kind of get to Glory and Gore, White Teeth Teens, she's kind of realising, yeah, these people are brutal. I don't need to fit into it. And then come to A World Alone, she's like, actually, there's all these other dotted people. There are over 1 million people here. And they're all just doing these weird things that don't make sense to me, but they're just living their life. She finds the one person who isn't sucked into whatever this is, whatever the society is, and just like, let them be. I found someone who understands my dichotomies. And it's just such a peaceful, mellow, cumbersome ending. And the fact that it just ends, let them talk, and then that's the end of the song. Okay, everybody, top 5. Number 5. These are where the diehards come out. Ribs. When I went and saw Lorde, I think about 3 years ago, I'm seeing her again soon. I'll be in Birmingham. But the only other time I've seen Lorde was in London. And when she played Ribs, she played it near the beginning of the set. And I went a little too crazy. And there was a girl behind me. We all got each other's details. And on her Insta post about the concert, yeah, I properly photobombed her video of Ribs, and it's just me going utterly insane, singing the end. But I was with 10,000 other people. That song is just a club banger. And you know what? Number 4, I've got Supercut. And number 3, I've got Greenlight. You know what? It's just true about these songs. They're just dance bangers. I really don't need to say more. Lorde, she's so versatile. She creates these really in-depth, introspective songs. But then every now and again, she just makes a party song. Thing is, the topics are still woven in, not as intricately, but they're still very present. But Ribs and Supercut, they're just a song each off of Pure Heroine and Melodrama, where it's just like, let's have a dance break. We're still going to have a few lyrics, but we're also going to party it out. And it balances perfectly, because I also dance my arse off to Supercut. With Greenlight, most anthemic songs she's ever written, produced, blah blah blah. And I think it's because you've really got to listen to the lyrics as well as just dancing around. I remember when I first listened to it. Again, it's another one of those songs where immediately the first line, she punches you in. I mean, she's talking about doing her makeup in the car, but it's immediate. There's the piano note and she sings. It's the beginning of Tennis Court on Steroids. And then it just develops and the piano starts dancing along and it develops more into this introspective song. But it's almost that this, whatever this love or situation was, infuriated her so much. It was either punch a wall or dance while trying to get out all the emotion. And so the song just builds up and up and up until you have the end. And the green light just, it is the moment. It's so empowering. I think because you've had the real introspective reckoning in the song whilst the beat is still building up, when you get to the choruses and especially that end, it is everything. Fucking everything. It's just overpowering, and it's meant to be. And what could be better than that? What could be better than her best banger, her best album starter? Well, it's 2 songs off of her first album which just hit differently with me. Number 2, I have Team. I remember when I first heard this on the radio, it's what made me buy her album. Of course, I knew Royals. Royals is one of those songs where it did really suck me in because it was so different. And it was in the charts, it was number 1. And finally, it was a number 1 song when I was a teenager that wasn't trashy pop. But almost Royals was the too quirky one. I think we needed Team to be the next single to balance that out. I just absolutely adore that. So I don't think much of the lyrics. I just feel really overpowered by the chorus and the end. We're on each other's team. And it just came over me. And it's the song that really made me a Lorde fan. It was a song that finally sucked me in and made me really understand and appreciate her music and buy the album and keep following and be obsessed with as a new release, apart from Solar Power. And I just love how the end with the song, again, this is almost a level above A World Alone. It's too anthemic to end the album, but it is the reckoning of why on earth are we all against each other? We might as well prop each other up. We all may have slight differences, but we've all got to achieve similar things in life. We might as well prop each other up, and we all live near each other. And I love that reckoning, as well as the instrumentation fitting that reckoning perfectly. And again, it's just the nostalgia. So, what is number 1? No Better. I don't really know why. Just listened to it one day. I found it because it was sort of, I think, like an added track that wasn't on the normal version in the UK of Pure Heroine. I found it like a year after, and wow, I don't know what it is, but that song, the lyrics are all over the place. I think it's the instrumentation just overwhelms me, especially when she gets past the kind of the first more developed chorus, because there's sort of two verses, and then there's that go all the way. I love that section. That section that's sort of like a chorus, and then it goes into this bridge. It keeps taking you in all these different directions, and then you just end with the same really embellished chorus of go all the way. Then it ends like the biggest build-up is in the bridge. It's so unique. The sections of the song don't make sense, but there are individual sections that are also perfectly crafted, and they balance out each other perfectly, and you just get this most delightful song which overpowers me more than any other Lorde song. But as to specifically why, when you've got bangers like Ribs and Greenlight and Team, but then this one, it's just on top of that, it just is something unique in there, and I cannot pinpoint it. I think I've pinpointed a lot about Lorde. I may be completely wrong. I've never met her. Most people can't pinpoint her at all. And I don't know, I think like this song may just be a really encompassing song for that. But anyway, that was my top 20 Lorde songs. If you're seeing her in Birmingham in November, I will see you there. I hope you check the music lover, and I'll see you in the next one.